5th. At 8:42 a.m., the police helicopter came from behind the two-story house and mobbed right to left in the copter pocket. And he made a slight ascent the entire time. He did a tail wave and then a fast dart. And he did a left curve and came up towards Solero Oliveira intersection. So I think he came from where Deseo Street is closest to Geronimo Road, and he mobbed up behind the two-story house, and then he made a little bit of a left curve as if he had to avoid the tree, the two-story house, and the hill. And then so he made a slight ascent up the 5% grade behind 24191 and the 24191 tree, and then made a left and came across Solero Oliveira intersection, except slightly closer to my house. And then he crossed over the street in a straight line and did a tail wave all the way. And then he went out over the houses into the park and did a little bit of a slight descent as he went into the park, as if it was a big, massive, hug the ground thing, and as if the trees were so tall. And then he did a left curve with a tail wave towards James Crystal's house on a diagonal. And so it was a straight line dart cover up. He did the tail wave cover up. He crossed through the October 30th spot, and then he went and ascended the fake hill, and he did it lengthwise. So that's a cover up for the military copter turn. And he went behind the houses at the end of Solero Castilla block, which is a cover up for the time when he chased me back to my house, and I deleted the apps, and then so he came back and harassed me and then did circles right there. So if you just fly through a spot where you did power circles, that accounts for the power circles 50 feet off the ground with the nose down attacking me. And so at 9:50 a.m., the police helicopter flew right to left in the fake copter pocket if you're looking across the street from my house. And he came from Geronimo Alicia, and he did a slight altitude gain as he came towards 24191, and then he made a right turn. And then he went out towards Geronimo Montilla and did a slight descent as he went, and then he did a speed dart cover up, and he went really fast. Then he did pulses. At 9:52, he returned and did the turn in the opposite direction. So if you're looking across the street from my house, he went left to right and then made a left turn at 24191. He did a slight ascension on the way in and a slight descension on the way out. And on his way out, he did left-right swoops. And then he did a left swoop, a larger one, slightly towards Geronimo Cordillera, except a little closer to Geronimo Alicia intersection, down Geronimo. And then he made another right swoop, a large one, and went basically straight through Geronimo Alicia intersection. And so that is slightly a new recent development. It has something to do with the October 30th event, where that location was. And also, I think that certain events have been audited recently because he started to create this cut up through the curvature of Deseo Street when it's closest to Geronimo. He started to cut up through there to incorporate all of the houses on Caladad, Bonacon, and Daphne, and all around there. And then just Geronimo Alicia intersection in general. And so also he was flying down, then he continued out and basically flew through Geronimo Alicia intersection going down Geronimo. And this is also new because it incorporates Los Alisos Geronimo intersection, which is where he was flying to, which is where I have videos of him doing power circles at Heroes Park and 24-hour fitness on Los Alisos. At 2:57 p.m. he was doing, so he at 2:46. No, okay, so the reason why at 9:50 and 9:52 when he returned, the reason why they did that is because yesterday they flew a military helicopter with large wheels. And if you're looking across the street from me, he flew right to left and made a right turn at 24191. And my phone didn't record it that well. And immediately afterward, they flew the police helicopter back left to right and did the turn. And then right after that, they flew a UN cover-up copter left to right and did the turn. And so they're trying to say that today he did these two because yesterday it was him that did it twice. So that they can take that video of the military helicopter, edit it, and erase the wheels and say that it happened at some time in the past. So they can say that it happened before the time when he responded and turned out of my frame. And so shortly after that at 10:11, because I pointed out that they had flown this helicopter with the wheels another time and that they're using it to create falsified evidence, they sent another military helicopter in the same line that the one with the wheels had been sent before, which is parallel to the double Blackhawk threat, but closer to Solero Oliveira intersection, a little farther out towards the park. And so This one had smaller wheels in the front, and then the back had a wheel like this, like the ones you see like that, like the ones you see on the airport when they move the big planes around. Just a little wheel at the back. And so that flew then, and then that helicopter did a descent and tried to sell the hill with another variation. And so that's why they did that, because they're creating falsified evidence. At 2:46 p.m., the police helicopter flew left to right up Geronimo, and then it cut up Deseo, and this is what I was talking about, the new Deseo route. And so it went over Falda Deseo, and it started to go right, then left, then right. So it went really kind of slow for a little bit and was doing turns. Like, this is my spot. I spend a lot of time here because I've noticed before, one time he flew incredibly slow, almost hovered, and I guess that accounts for doing power circles. So if you fly slowly, that accounts for 10 or 20, 30 power circles. And so this right-left swooping thing, that accounted for the straight line dart because it's slow and it's not straight. And also it spent a lot of time there, so that accounts for hundreds of circles which have happened there. And then he disappeared somewhere out towards James Crystal's house. And then at 2:57, he came back, and he was doing power circles out behind the October 16th event on Olivera Street. But I couldn't find him right away. And then so when I did, I ran over, and he moved back out into the park then, and he left. And I need to find the date, but there was a recent event after October 16th when they started throwing sound from the helicopter for the Cessnas, and he did this event in the park where I almost mixed up the police helicopter with a Cessna. And that was because they were throwing sound, and the Cessna wasn't moving like a helicopter, but the thing is they tried to make it move like a helicopter, so I almost mixed it up for a minute. And then I said, no, it's gliding, it's not a helicopter, it's a plane. And so this event was highly similar to it, so I know that they're going to